The top quarterbacks of the turn of the century, and this man led the Oakland Raiders to the Super Bowl in 2002-2003 season. My pleasure to have Mr. Rich Gannon. Pleasure to have
Good to be with you guys. I'm fired up for this fantasy draft today. Should be a lot of fun.
Are you picking or what are picking?
I'm actually hosting. Adam, Sean, and I are going to host the show. It's our third year doing it. It's great to be here in New York at the Hard Rock Cafe, and we got a great group of fantasy celebrities, and so we're gonna have a lot of fun here in a couple hours.
There are so many questions I can ask you about the upcoming NFL season. Well, first question: in the NFC, which teams can end up making that Super Bowl run, Super Bowl 47?
Well, you got to start with the Giants. I mean, they're the defending world champs. However, they were 9-7 during the regular season. I think they've got some issues, like a lot of teams still heading into training camp. So I think the NFC East is so tough. I think Philadelphia's better. I think the Cowboys will be better. So
The pressure of
Philly's tough, you know, and Michael Vick can stay healthy and play 16 games. We're going to be talking about Philadelphia. But I think you look at the teams to beat in the NFC, and I think you look at a team like New Orleans. And a lot of people think that New Orleans is not going to make the postseason. They've got all the suspensions. They're kind of a tumultuous offseason. They still have Drew Brees, a lot of the firepower intact on the offensive side of the ball. We've got a new defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo. I think New Orleans is a team that will make the postseason. You look at the NFC West. You look at San Francisco, 13-3 a year ago. I think they'll be better on offense. Randy Moss has had an unbelievable offseason. I talked to Jim Harbaugh a couple weeks ago. He's excited about that, and they got a great defense. I mean, they take care of the football on offense. They don't turn it over. 10 turnovers last year, league low. They take the ball away on defense. I think that's why they win a lot of games.
In the AFC.
In the AFC, I think you got to look at the New England Patriots. I mean, I think if they can figure things out defensively, it's been the thorn in their side the last couple of years. They've lost the last 2 Super Bowls because they can't play defense. Bill Belichick will get that straightened out. You look what they did in the draft. They get Chandler Jones. They get Dante Hightower. I think they're going to be better on defense. And, of course, Tom Brady and that offense, it's hard to stop.
What do you think of the Houston Texans?
Houston Texans, I just did my first fantasy pool of the top 10 teams in the league, and Houston was number 6. I just think Gary Kubiak's done an outstanding job. Wade Phillips came over last year. The biggest turnaround in defense in football last year. They were 30th in defense in 2010. They were number 2 last year in total defense. They've got without Mario, so they've got a good defense. I'm concerned a little bit about 2 things on the offensive side. Actually, 3 things on the offensive side of the ball. They got to rebuild the right side of the offensive line. They lost 2 very good players there. Matt Schaub's coming off that Liz Frank surgery. Want to see what he's able to do. Did do a lot in the preseason, or the offseason, I'm sorry. And of course, Andre Johnson. He has really struggled over the last couple of seasons. Missed a lot of games last year. If he can stay healthy, those 2 guys can stay healthy, I think we can see Houston back in the postseason.
Wow, and talk about, from a fantasy perspective, who's the sleeper that can be able to take over a la Cam Newton? And from a team perspective, a reality perspective, talk about a team that can sneak into the playoffs.
I'll tell you 2 right now, and this may surprise some people. I think Matt Castle, the Kansas City Chiefs, is going to have an outstanding year. The guy went to the Pro Bowl 2 years ago. In his first 3 seasons in Kansas City, they had 3 different play callers, and that's really tough on a quarterback. Last year, they didn't have Tony Moianka. They lost Jamal Charles. They lost Eric Berry on the defensive side of the ball. They had injuries along the offensive line. Matt Castle is a good player. I think he has a breakout season once again under Romeo Crennel in Kansas City. And from a team perspective, don't count out the Buffalo Bills in the AFC East. I'm just telling you, they loaded up on defense. They got Mark Anderson. They got Mario Williams. They did a good job in the draft. They've got a very good offense. Injuries were a big story last year when you look at the second half of the season with Buffalo. If they can stay healthy, they'll be better on defense. We can be talking about Buffalo in the postseason.
Especially if Stevie Johnson can be consistent as a number 1 receiver.
Oh, I think so. I mean, I think the injuries, he was a guy that was hurt last year. His shoulder was bothering him a lot. And of course, he had the groin injury. I think they're going to be better on offense. And the key to it, I think the key to it is Ryan Fitzpatrick not turning the ball over. He's been a little bit careless the last 2 seasons with some turnovers, but if he can take care of that, I think we can see Buffalo in the postseason.
I want to say, Rich, thank you for your expert analysis, and have a good one.